Imagine a German officer in the early 20th century, his uniform neat, his posture strong, but what really catches your eye is the thin, clear scar on his cheek. This isn't an accident, it's a Schmiss, a mark of honor earned in the Mensur, a ritual duel. The scar showed he faced a blade without backing down, proof of bravery and belonging. In Imperial Germany, this mark was a symbol of discipline, tradition, and readiness to lead. For those who wore it, the Schmiss was a symbol of who they were, a visible sign of a hidden world. The Mensur's beginnings go back to the early 19th century, when German universities became places full of new ideas and national pride. Student fraternities, close-knit groups with secret customs, appeared, fiercely protecting their honor. Arguments were common, and duels became the accepted way to sort them out. Early duels were wild and dangerous, but over time, fraternities made rules, turning fights into controlled tests of bravery. The Mensur, from the Latin word for measurement, was born, a duel at a set distance, focused not on skill, but on courage. The goal: stand still, accept a wound, and show no fear. Fraternities made strict rules, making the Mensur a special event for their members to go through. Training focused on staying still and having nerve, not on being good at fencing. The duel became a very important part of fraternity life, bringing members together for life. It was a show of manliness, a demonstration of belonging to a special group. The Mensur was seen as vital for a young man's education, building character and preparing future leaders. Universities became training grounds for the country's important people, with the Mensur as the ultimate test. It proved a student's will and courage, not just their intelligence. For over 100 years, the Mensur defined German university life. The Mensur was different from any other duel, strict, ritualized, and about the mind. Two duelists, or Paukanten, stood at a measured distance, their feet fixed, unable to dodge or step back. Only their arms and wrists could move, swinging sharp Schläger swords. Protective gear covered their bodies, arms, and eyes, but the cheeks and forehead were left open, the target area. The duel wasn't about beating an opponent, but about controlling the urge to flinch. Standing still as a blade flashed towards your face required amazing self-control. Any sign of fear, moving, ducking, closing eyes, meant dishonor. Seconds made sure the rules were followed, stopping the duel if they were broken. The real victory was taking a cut without breaking your stance. Doctors stood by to treat wounds between rounds. Duels ended after a set number of rounds, or if a wound was too bad. Winning didn't matter. What counted was calm endurance. The Mensur measured courage by stillness, not by sword-fighting skill. Fraternity brothers judged, did you stand your ground? Did you take your cut like a man? This ritual made the Mensur different from all other duels. It was a tough test of character, not a fight. The scars it left were proof of a man's ability to put honor before fear. In the Mensur, stillness was everything. The unavoidable result of the Mensur was the Schmiss, a scar worn with pride. In Imperial Germany, a dueling scar was more valuable than any medal. Showing its wearer was part of the elite. The scar was like a visible CV, signaling courage, discipline, and fraternity membership. It opened doors to leadership in government, the military, and industry. Some men even faked scars, so great was their social value. Being real mattered. Those in the know could spot a true Schmiss by its angle and story. The scar was more than just showing off. It was a shared symbol of identity and brotherhood. It tied fraternity members together, a permanent reminder of their trial. The Schmiss was a tribal mark for Germany's ruling class. It was a conversation starter, a sign of manliness, and a key to power. The scar's meaning was deeply woven into German society. The Mensur's values, discipline, calmness, courage, were just like those of the Prussian and German military. Many duelists became officers, bringing their scars and way of thinking to the army. The Schmiss became a common sight among officers, showing proven bravery and trustworthiness. The military and fraternities strengthened each other's rules of honor and rank. Fraternities became like pre-military training grounds, preparing young men for leadership. The Mensur was more than a student ritual. It was part of a system creating disciplined, honorable men for the state. This mix blurred the lines between academic, military, and political leaders. The scar on an officer's cheek symbolized this powerful, united ruling class. It was a mark of a man ready for both the lecture hall and the battlefield. When the Nazis came to power, they liked the Mensur's focus on courage and toughness. Scarred duelists fit their idea of the Aryan warrior, and some Nazi leaders were fraternity members. But the fraternity's independence threatened Nazi control. In 1933, the Mensur was banned, and fraternities were replaced by state-run organizations. The regime wanted to get rid of competing loyalties and create a single, unified people's community. Some fraternities went underground, risking everything to keep their tradition alive. The Nazis' relationship with the Mensur was complicated. They admired its spirit, but feared its freedom. The ban marked the end of the old elite brotherhoods. After World War II, the Mensur was seen as bad, its scars now symbols of a dangerous past. Fraternities and dueling were banned, and the Schmiss lost its social value. Post-war Germany embraced democracy and rejected old military traditions. Student culture changed. The Mensur was seen as brutal and snobbish. Yet a few fraternities fought to keep the tradition alive, arguing for academic freedom. Legal battles eventually allowed the Mensur to return, but only on the edges of society. Today it survives in a handful of fraternities practiced in private. The scars no longer open doors. They're more likely to make people curious or disapprove. The world that gave the Schmiss meaning is gone. The Mensur continues as a controversial, almost forgotten tradition. The dueling scar is more than just a mark. It's a symbol of how societies decide what courage and identity mean. Once, the Schmiss represented German ideals of manhood and leadership. Its meaning changed with history, shifting from pride to shame after 1945. Scars, like monuments, are reinterpreted by each new generation. The Mensur story makes us think about what scars truly are, records of wounds, but also of survival. Germany's 20th century history left deep scars, shaping its identity. The pale lines on old faces remind us how cultures build and unbuild their heroes. The Mensur scar is a small part of history, a mark that tells a story of honor, pain, and changing values.